The Avengers. We're getting you guys ready for Avengers Infinity War, so we're gonna be doing an Avengers review, and also we're gonna be doing an Avengers Age of Ultron because we were not a channel at that point when those films came out, so we will be doing those reviews. We're not gonna unfortunately have time to do the Easter eggs, but we will do that at some point in time for you guys as long as Doctor Strange allows it. We're also going to be doing Earth's Mightiest Heroes if we get a chance, maybe after Infinity War comes out, because we really have been wanting to do that for a while. So be on the lookout for that as well. Now, getting to this film, I do remember, Jason, in October of 2011, just with anticipation, just waiting to see that trailer. And when it first came out, I was like so freaking pumped and like just so excited. Like that trailer just got me so excited for this film.
Well, it was like the first kind of team-up movie we've really seen. I mean, X-Men kind of was out, which is a team, I guess, but this was so many movies coming together. Yeah. A combination of like 4 movies already, so.
Exactly. I mean, X-Men was, you know, like we said, that is a team and an ensemble film, but that's in the first film you see the team come together. Like this is 4 or 5 films in the making coming together.
Yeah,
so,
crazy.
You know, all these stories intersecting, and like, again, just Marvel, the way they had their plan and just the way they organically brought everything together, and how they developed each character, so that way we just had such an emotional investment. I thought Joss Whedon, like, let's get to Joss Whedon first. Like, when they announced that he was going to be directing, I was a huge fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and also Serenity, so I thought, you know, it was an interesting choice, and I was looking forward to it, and I really thought he did a great job. And also he's the writer, I believe, with Zach Penn was one of the writers as well on it, but I thought Joss like really understood the characters, and I also think he really nailed the villain in this with Loki. And obviously, you know, he had a little bit to work on.
He had a lot to work with,
but Tom Hiddleston. But
you could definitely tell that he really cared about it. He wanted to make it his own, and he, you know, it was like his baby, so he put a lot of time and care into it, and it definitely showed. And yeah, Loki obviously is just a great villain. Just it kind of made me like Thor, the first movie, better after seeing the Avengers, just because seeing Loki in that role after seeing him in this movie, because he's just so good in pretty much every movie he's in. But man, like, I don't know. Every time I watch him in this movie, I just love him as a villain.
And again, we're talking about how this film, you know, is going off from the other films and the other stories, and I really like organically how this film, like, right away starts away, even though it's a year later from Captain America, the first Avenger, in terms of the ending of that film, not the 1940s, and obviously the ending of Thor. I just like, again, how, you know, the Tesseract is such a big deal in this, and it's the MacGuffin of the film, and then, you know, we're dealing with, you know, or rather, as we know now, spoiler alert if you've not seen this movie, obviously, we do know that is the Space Stone, and then Loki's Scepter is the Mind Stone, and we know that he has made a deal with Thanos, who we keep seeing in the background. Obviously, we get that big look at him in the the mid-credit scene, but, you know, you get little glimpse of him, and you get to see Allison Hannigan's husband, the other, the one that, what's his name, Ronan kills in Guardians of the Galaxy. Lower your tone!
Yeah.
Him, we get to see him, and I like that connection that Loki has, obviously, when he fell through the portal, and then he made a deal with Thanos. I thought it, again, they gave him, you know, he's got that backstory of, you know, he felt, you know, kind of betrayed, where he was lied to by his dad his whole life, and that he's, you know, really he should be a king in his own right because of, you know, Laufey was really his father. So, you know, I do like that backstory that they do have for Loki, and like his motivations, they make sense, and he's very menacing, especially that first scene where he just starts killing all the SHIELD agents and then starts mind controlling.
The
like
first shot where he's like when he comes in and he's just like so ready, and he gives you that smile, just so evil.
Oh, he's so good, Tom Hiddleston. Freaking
that. And his interaction with Nick Fury is really cool too, because obviously Nick Fury is just like a presence himself, and seeing those two actors go back and forth, I thought was really awesome.
And boo. The stakes are immediately raised in the first scene, and just again, we got that cold, calculating, evil, menacing villain that we're already familiar with in a sympathizing way from Thor. So I love. Usually, you don't start movies off like that, where you're sympathized with the villain from, you know, a previous film into this film. So I thought that was really neat how they did that.
I love in this movie how, you know, they have to start forming the team together, but one of the first scenes with them is where they're all fighting each other, at least 3 of them. Pretty cool fight, kind of in the forest.
With Iron Man and Thor.
And then Cap is the voice of reason, and they're all, you know, talking back and forth, and it's pretty hilarious too, just especially seeing Tony talk to Thor, and Thor's not having any of it. Thor's not having any of it.
Does Mother know you wear her drapes? Yeah, no, that's clearly Joss Whedon interaction, and also Robert Downey Jr. doing some improv. But
yeah, he can carry.
No, and like, kind of shooting off your point, I love the recruiting too. Like, you know, where Coulson is calling in.
I love Coulson too.
Yeah, he's
son of Cole.
Yeah, he's great. And I'm so glad, by the way, that Clark Gregg. Yeah, albeit that Captain Marvel is a film that's set in the '90s, so it's obviously set way before any of these films. I'm very happy that Clark Gregg is coming back as Agent Coulson, even though it's flashback film, but still, it's really cool that he's coming back, and I agree with you. He's a major central point to this film on why the Avengers come together. Again, just him telling, Natasha Romanoff, or rather the Black Widow. I like when, again, she's that whole interrogation scene between her and, what German guys, or what those army guys at the beginning? Those guys that she was interrogating.
I not give you everything.
Yeah, this moron's giving me everything. Yeah, no, like again, I like how that established like her as that badass again. How she's just kind of toying with them, but again, then it sort of establishes her relationship with Bruce Banner because she's got to recruit Bruce Banner. He's got to recruit Iron Man. So I just again like you said, I like that team building right there. And again, you sort of see the conflict first right away, where in terms of Bruce is kind of testing her to see if there's other agents again.
That was mean. I just want to see what you do.
But like again, I like how Bruce is kind of like doing his own. Like we just saw her toying with with the villains that she was interrogating. Now he's kind of toying with her in his own way a little bit. So that's why he's such a genius, and that's why he's a doctor, right?
Yeah, but it took pretty much the whole movie for them to actually come together after Coulson died, because they were pretty dysfunctional basically the whole time.
Which I liked.
Each trying to do their own thing, and then there's that scene where they're all fighting in the room, and the scene kind of turns upside down. I thought that was a pretty cool shot.
Also, too,
around the scepter.
If you notice too on that scene, the scepter obviously was playing a big role in there because the scepter was glowing and obviously was probably affecting their minds and getting them a little angry. Yeah. So no,
which we didn't know yet at the time, but
yeah. And actually, you know what? Even though Hawkeye is mind controlled in this film, the way it's
he's
paid,
badass.
Yeah, the way it's. I know a lot of people he's the grunt of many people's jokes, but I think he's used very properly. Not only in this film, but the way he's just used with the group in general. And again, the scene in the battle in New York when he's just shooting arrows without looking at things and firing like
that scene is tight.
Oh yeah,
but I just think his character isn't quite there when he's mind controlled because he's not. He's not cracking all the jokes and being very sarcastic, which is not a problem because, like we said, he's mind controlled at this point, so he doesn't really care about that. But once he does come back after he gets hit in the head, then he is like that in the final battle, which I liked.
What do you think about that? How they use that as a plot device on hitting someone on the head? Kind of curious. Were you cool with that?
I mean, it kind of makes sense. I mean, you have to eventually get them out somehow, so cognitive recalibration seems pretty plausible. So I have no real problem with it. It might have been like an escape route, but you had to get them back somehow, so how else would they have done it?
I know usually we save the flaws for the end of the film, but since we're talking about problems, let's talk about that freaking ugly Captain America suit. That thing, I'm sorry, that thing is...
It was weird.
I love Captain America suits in just about all the films so far in the MCU. Not this one.
Yeah,
this is the only one. That mask and the way it looks very awkward on him. It looks like
the color, too, was just kind of weird.
Like, Agent Coulson, we love you. We really do. Poor choice on your part, my man. Obviously, we know that's not...
why you died.
We know that's not Clark Gregg picking that, but we're talking about the character. He said he made a few modifications of his own, but damn, Coulson, what do you... I know that's the classic costume from the comics. It didn't look classic at all in this movie. It looked really bad. I think my favorite suit, if we're going to pick out... Obviously, I'm going to go with Winter Soldier. I think that stealth suit...
The dark one from the first half?
I love that suit, dude. Yeah. That's my favorite one. So I mean,
I'm not gonna. I like the one he has in Ultron. On Ultron. Also.
I like that one a lot. I like that one a lot too. But I'm not gonna lie, the Nomad one that he wears in Infinity War, that thing's
giving him
badass.
That darker look just makes him feel more badass. I feel like.
I like that. I do like the conflict that Joss Whedon throws at the group, where they're all doing their own thing and they want to go about. They all have the same goals, but they want to achieve it in different ways. And I love how it brings Coulson's death is what brings it to the forefront, and that's what they need to come together. And I also like how kind of Nick Fury kind of manipulates the situation a little.
He throws the cards with the blood on it.
But. And also, too, like Maria Hill starts to get an understanding of what he's doing and why he needs to do that, because there's really no other way to stop Loki, obviously, at that point. And again, when we get to that battle in New York, I mean, that 30-minute scene, I remember in theaters just when we were watching that, like, that was pulsates. I mean, scene. Not only is it great, I mean... The thing I love most in action sequences is when they're emotionally driven action sequences. Like, yes, there's great action in the scene, but again, the stakes and the emotional, or not payoffs, but the emotional investments you feel towards the characters make the action feel that much more impactful and make you care that much more about what's going on in the scene. And again, I just love how Joss Whedon really just captures not only beautiful imagery, but just, again, the emotional drivenness of the action of those scenes. I really thought he nailed it. And I thought the amount of length in the scene was just proper. Everyone was
perfect.
getting their, their what you want to say, their time to shine in the sun. So I loved everyone.
And that one scene where
that tracking shot.
Tracking
that's the best.
That's one of the best shots.
Iron Man
shots
shoots
ever.
into the shield, and then you're seeing Hawkeye, and then
it's like a good almost minute scene where it's just one shot following all of them around, and
kind of felt like Birdman a little bit, like
yeah, but on crack.
Yeah. Alejandro Inarritu took over that scene, right? He's like, Joss, let me take over one scene. We're going to have Michael Keaton fly us right here, POV style, and Birdman.
You just see Birdman flying in the back? Or,
hey, guys, what do you guys do?
Easter egg. You'll see it in a year or two.
comic book movies on Michael Keaton. Yeah, no.
It was good.
Yeah, no, that tracking shot's amazing. The whole, I mean, again, just...
And when Hulk finally shows up, man, he makes a lasting impact.
By the way, I mean, we kind of talked a little about flaws. A lot of people have some flaws about where Bruce Banner just randomly shows up on a motorcycle. How did he know where to go? If you actually rewatch the scene, right before the explosion happens with Hawkeye's arrow, you hear Bruce Banner say, "Oh God!" Like if you rewind the scene, he's actually looking. It says Stark Tower. The longitude, latitude, it shows Stark Tower. So he actually got a visual confirmation that it was at Stark Tower.
I mean, Andy could probably see the giant freaking aliens flying around the Stark Tower.
But I mean, again,
I never even thought about that.
Well,
like, how does he know to come back?
Well, regardless of that, he had a visual seeing. So a lot of people are saying that was an issue. It's Joss Whedon actually took care of that issue. So that really
I didn't know
wasn't
that people had issues with that.
A lot of people.
But they shouldn't, because it's pretty big, giant, flying alien dude right above Stark Tower. Yeah. There's not that many huge action scenes,
but the action scenes do
they are
work.
impactful and they're memorable.
And I think also I'm glad that there's not more than we got, because the 30-minute action sequence at the end, if we would have had a bunch of action sequences before that, I mean, obviously, it would have been cool getting a lot of action, but I think at that point we would have been a little... even though I love Man of Steel and I think it's a very great film, I think a lot of people said maybe there was a little infusion of too much going on there.
That was 50 minutes action scene.
Yeah, but again, I'm
30's good. Although
think,
they said in Infinity War there's going to be like a, 70-minute action scene.
I mean, but see, that movie's the culmination of 19 films at that point, and we've been promised Thanos for so long.
And with the billboards and stuff they're putting up, I think it's going to be like teams of people.
It will
so
be.
You're going to be going back and forth a lot.
And we've kind of seen in trailers, they're going to be on Titan, they're going to be on Wakanda, and they're going to...
Hey, some of us haven't seen trailers, man.
Okay, Jason. All right, so final thoughts. As obviously you can kind of guess, I love this movie. It's one of my favorite MCU films. I'd probably put it in my top 5 MCU films. Again, I love the way the team comes together, the team camaraderie. I think Joss Whedon really did a good job just balancing out, the tones in the film, just from the humor to the dark moments in the film, the moments of levity, the moments where you're supposed to feel terrified. Just did a really good job of just balancing everything out in a way that felt cohesive, organic, and very enjoyable. And this film was a lot of fun. I mean, for a film where, it's end of the world stakes scenario, it's a lot of fun watching the team come together, watching Cap say, and Hulk smash, just watching Hulk use Loki as a rag doll, just throwing him around. I mean, there were just some amazing, incredible moments. Whether you're a comic book fan, a comic book movie fan or not, or whatever you are, just a movie fan in general, there's just some amazing moments in this. It's well directed, it's well acted, it's very well paced. The humor in this film is very funny, and it's just very balanced out tonally with the rest of the film. I love the tone in this film. The camera work is really well done, especially that one tracking shot we saw. There's some incredibly funny lines. Alan Silvestri gives a great score. I'm going to give the Avengers a 9.4 out of 10. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make it a 9.5.
What gave it that extra 0.1, man?
I was just thinking that Avengers theme just keeps popping in my head, and I'm just adding another point.
The music makes a difference.
It really does.
I love this movie. I'm gonna give it a 9.
Okay.
I think it's really fun, and it does a really good job of it does its job of putting the team together with all the struggle that it takes, and with all the personalities, and under that metal of armor, what are you?
Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
But yeah, especially those two egos going back and forth. I think it does a good job of not making it easy for them to come together, but the stakes get high enough that they have to come together. And Loki obviously is a great villain. I'll watch him on screen. They can make just a Loki movie. I'd totally watch it over and over again.
They should. I'd be down.
I don't know what else.
That movie.
The Loki movie.
Hell yeah,
we'll see. But anyway, yeah, I love this movie a lot. It did a culmination of the first 5 movies. It just was so excited when it came out. So yeah, I'm gonna go with my score of 9. And Man, I can't wait for this next Avengers
And by the way,
movie.
really quick, just that line, the genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. Rewatch the first trailer for this film, The Avengers, that we're talking about, and then rewatch that scene where he says genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. I love the delivery in the trailer, the way he says it. He says it so cocky. Like when Cap says, you know, a big man of steel armor would take that off. What are you? A genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. Like he says it in a sarcastic, funny tone.
Well, they use a different take for the trailer.
But in the trailer, but then in the film, when Cap says the same thing, he's and Iron Man or Tony Stark responds, genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. Like it was a little more of a serious take.
It was serious, but he still had that twinge of like.
But
yeah,
again,
like,
if you rewatch the trail,
and then Black Widow's like, oh, yeah, you're right. I mean,
no, but I rewatched the trailer. I like the trailer delivery a little bit more. It's more Tony Stark-esque to me personally. But again, I like just last thing adding on. I love the way they're already infusing that conflict between Cap and Tony Stark. Like it's already starting right there, and I love it. So yeah, this movie's awesome.
Yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for this review. Let us know what you thought about it in the comments section. We're going to be reviewing a lot of Avengers stuff coming up very soon, so be on the lookout for that.
Easter eggs, too.
And also, you know, rest my ass heroes if we can.
Yes.
And, but yeah, if you guys like these videos, definitely hit that subscribe button, and
see you guys next time.